Hello, 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 and welcome back. This is our live Q&A session with yours truly, Donny Coram, the foreclosure deals coach. On this show, we talk about my 5F strategy for finding, figuring, funding, fixing, and flipping a foreclosure deal right here in the Colorado Springs marketplace that I know and love. On this channel, we like to have a back and forth banter here. So wherever you're watching this, hop into the comments. Let me know if there are any questions I can answer about the investing process. A lot is happening in the real estate market, which is always the case, right? This is a very volatile, very moving market, not unlike the stock market, and honestly, not unlike any other commoditized market, like the car market has its ups and downs, right? The stock market we already mentioned, and the housing market is always in a state of flux, right? And that's what's interesting about the market that we're in right now. We have a lot of pressure on both sides of the market. One side of the market is the interest rates pushing down on pricing, right? And we talk about that pretty much every week, that a lot of people are wanting to come into the market perhaps, but based on the fact that interest rates are up, let's call it 40%, maybe more. Well, we're talking about from 2012, we're talking about an increase of like 200%, right? They've doubled in the last few years. That's not a surprise to anybody. But what is a bit more of a surprise is that inventory is still really low. And why is inventory low? Well, it's kind of simple. If people are looking to sell their property, they're generally looking to buy another property. And if you've got a kick-ass interest rate in the 2s or 3s, you're going to be awful hesitant to sell that house and go buy a house that's a lot more expensive, right, at a much higher interest rate. So that's causing a lot of pressure on inventory. When you have those two forces pushing against each other, right, interest rates pushing prices down, inventory pushing prices up, where we are at is stable. It's a flat market. This is not to say that it's not moving. It's just that we're not getting the big upticks that we saw in the last couple of years. On the flip side of that, a lot of people, myself included, were concerned that these interest rates were going to cause a significant decrease in the pricing of houses. That has not been the case. As it sits today, pricing is pretty stable. We dipped for a little bit the first 3 months of the interest rate hike, and then after that, they came back up. They're pretty much back to 2020 levels, maybe 2021. They're not surging like they were, but they are back to normal levels. So today I wanted to go over, we do kind of a market analysis every week. The market's flat, so that's tough to discuss. But what is going to happen with the market in the future, in my opinion, and everybody's got a different opinion. We all heard opinions, but as a guy who's been in this industry since the 2007, 2008 debacle, right? If you remember the big bubble that took place way back then in the real estate market, I actually got my real estate license in 2007, and I was investing just prior to that. I did my first deal prior to getting my license. So I've been in the industry since the last big correction, okay? And if you talk to any of the industry experts about what's going to happen next, we're right on track for a correction. And what that means, if you're flat for the time period now, you're going to see something happen in the market that's going to have a significant impact. Obviously, we're heading into political season. I didn't watch the debate. I try to avoid the politics of all of it, because I don't want to be swayed in my day-to-day activity by what those guys are doing. But obviously, going into political season, there's a lot of desire by the current incumbent president administration to pretend like we are not in a recession. They keep redefining the term recession. And that's obviously good for them. Like, they want to show that the economy is stable, life is good, reelect the current guy. That's just politics, right? So they're redefining that. The fact is, we've probably been in a recession for the better part of a year, maybe a little bit longer, based on the fact that the GDP, the gross domestic product, has decreased for more than 2 quarters in a row, right? That's the very essence of the definition of recession. Yet we are currently pretending like that's not the case. So that's keeping a false pretense on the market at large. When, not if, when they pull the veil off of that, okay, what you're going to see is a lot of people going into foreclosure for the same reason they go into foreclosure in every market. But now in this market, you're going to have a lot more pressure on that. That pressure is going to be guided by unemployment. I can tell you that, it usually requires some kind of economic move. In 2008, what happened? A lot of people lost their jobs. And guys, this is not me wishing or hoping or wanting that to happen, but rather telling you this is an inevitability of the market as we know it. What goes up up must come down. Okay. Unemployment goes up because of the interest rates. Interest rates affect employers in all sorts of ways. You're talking about lines of credit for capital for businesses that want to grow but can't, right? You're talking about the cost of goods going up because of interest rates, because now you have a carrying cost that goes up. Everything about this increased interest rate is causing pressure on the market. Okay. Over time, those employers unable to keep up, not wanting to keep up, whatever, going to start laying people off. When that happens, people who've been paying their mortgages are going to suffer. The people who got mortgages at that 2 to 3% rate, they're going to be able to sustain a little bit longer, right? Because the payments are lower. But if you bought a house in the last year or so, which so many people have, despite the higher interest rates, and you lose your job, you're going to see the crisis happen, I think, centered around that. Not wishing for it, not hoping for it, predicting it. What does that mean for somebody like you who wants to get into real estate investing? Well, guys, let me tell you, if prices don't go down and inventory goes up, okay, because of foreclosures, if banks are taking properties back at a high rate, we're going to get some incredible deals on those properties. Okay, because banks do not want to hold on to that inventory. They saw what happened last time. They fought against it. They wouldn't do short sales. The short sale process at the time was taking 6 to 12 months to get a short sale done. Nothing short about a short sale, right? Because they did not want to take a reduced balance on those properties. And as such, they held on and held on. My prediction is they've learned from that mistake. At least I hope so. And they're going to quickly take these properties back, especially if they're at the lower interest rates, right? Because there's not a ton of incentive to keep that paper out there at the lower interest rate. They can get that asset back and resell it at a higher interest rate. That's what banks do. They're looking for their return on investment, right? And they're going to get the highest return on investment they can. That is the nature of banking, okay? So my prediction is we're heading into it. How long? Your guess is as good as mine. I've been saying 12 to 18 months for ages now, that this is going to take 12 to 18 months to get to that arrival point. I can tell you it's happening now. We're definitely seeing it. There's been an uptick in foreclosures. I think El Paso County is reporting like a 300% uptick in overall foreclosure filings. That's scary, but it doesn't mean much because it was so low, right? So even going 300% is not a big deal because it was at all-time lows. But if we continue to see that trend, if we're tripling year over year on foreclosures, we're not talking about very long before we're finding ourselves in a foreclosure crisis in a lot of ways. This is great news for people who are looking to buy low and sell high, because the people who buy houses in the foreclosure crisis are not going to be, they're paying a higher interest rate, right? So they're going to want the nicest house they can buy. That usually pushes new builds, because obviously you want the nicest house you can buy. You want something brand new, but let's face it, builders have gotten way out of whack on pricing, and it's not because they wanted to. Labor costs went way up. Okay, material costs went way up. So that's going to eliminate builders from this quotient just a little bit. The cost to build right now is already atrocious and is slated to go up from here. So it's a high probability that builders are going to suffer to move inventory. Where are these well-suited home buyers moving here? Because we are one of the coolest cities in the country to live in. Where are these people going to look then? They're going to find nice resale homes. I promise you, right? And a remodeled resale home that's got all the updates, the tech package, the right color package, but properly interior design are going to become all the rage, okay? And I believe that as investors, if we can bring to the market what they want, and where the inventory is low. So it's not that houses aren't selling, it's just that nice houses are selling more often, right? So if you're providing a nice house to the marketplace and you're pricing it in line with what the normal houses are priced at, because we bought it well, you're gonna have no trouble selling a property in this marketplace. And I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell, I'm passionate about what I do here, but I'm super excited that people who are investing in this market right now are about to make a ton of money. My advice to my clients and just overall those of you who are watching is learn this process right now. Don't wait until the market is already in a state of collapse before you decide to get this skill set. Develop it while it's semi-normal and it's flat, because you're building your construction teams, you're creating a relationship with your lenders at that point, you're learning deal analysis, and you're getting in the habits of finding deals on your own or using my help, etc., which is where the coaching comes in, where I help you to find the deal, analyze the deal, fund the deal, fix the deal, and sell the deal with a minimum profit of $25,000 or more. I've got clients clearing 50 grand on deals, and I'm happy for them, because I understand that the more deals and more profitable those deals are, the more likely the clients are to come back and do another deal, right? So it's a consulting business, what I'm offering here for people who really want to get into the industry of flipping, but don't know how to get started. Okay, no sales pitch here at all. This is only for people who want to invest in real estate but aren't certain where to find that deal. If you've never done it, analysis is a real bear. So I'm going to help you to analyze the deal to make sure you're analyzing it accurately and you're not putting yourself in a bad spot on that analysis, right? I can fund the deal. I'm a hard money broker myself, so getting funding is not a problem for me or my students. And by virtue of the fact that you are a client, the lenders that I'm working with really, really, really want to deal with experienced people right now. Okay, if you're coming in as a brand new person to the investing space, they are terrified because they don't even know what's going to happen in the market. So a pure rookie coming in right now is very difficult to lend to. You as a coaching client are not a pure rookie. You're getting my advice, my counseling, my consulting to make sure that you're getting the best deal, you're funding it accurately. Finally, my least favorite part of this is the fixing phase, because it was always managed by my wife, the project manager, and she was super good at it, right? We are working through that right now. Construction, as all of you know, is very difficult in general to find good contractors, good subcontractors. We're working our way through it, but it's a grind right now. Here's what's going to change in that space, okay? The subcontractors were very much reliant on the builders for their business, and they were getting a lot of business from the builders to frame, drywall, texture, paint, etc. The builders are slowing down because of all the reasons that I told you, right? They're not going to be developing as much, but then right as we should have gotten those builder workers, the hailstorms came through. Right. And so right now, subcontractors are not having a ton of trouble finding work. So we are still having struggles finding subcontractors. Right. And as that work kind of filters through the system, we're going to be able to get the best subs. But you as an individual, okay, if you're getting into this now and you got to find your contracting crew and you can do one house at a time, you're never going to get the same rate that a builder who can build multiple properties at the same time can get. These subs like to be kept busy. That's how they feed their families, right? So how do we make that happen in remodeling? Well, either you got to scale up like I did and do 45 flips in a year, which I do not recommend at all until you have a very solid team underneath you to do that. We went nuts and we had a good team and it was still a ton of work. Or Plan B, join a group like mine where as a combined resource, we are working together to find the best subs here in this market, to work with them and to keep them moving from job to job to job to job. So we are always getting the best pricing on our contract labor. Okay, that the combination of joining up as a team as opposed to doing this yourself. Listen, if flipping is just not for you, okay, if it's something you just don't want to do, that's okay. Right? This is not, I can tell you with certainty, I talk to potential clients all the time, and this is definitely not for everybody. Okay, that requires a certain mindset, a certain desire to do this. However, if it's something you want to do, it makes very little sense to do this on your own. You know what I mean? If you're joining up with a group of people, and this is how I got started, guys. Way back in the day, I was a solopreneur, just like all of my clients were before they joined my group. I joined a group with a guy here in town named Mike Jake. He's a huge investor here in town. Once I joined up with his group, I had access to the subcontractors. I had access to the advice, right? I had access to the funding. I had all the pieces I needed to make my flip that much more fluid. I am simply recreating the proven model to develop me into the investor I am today, and I can easily transition that to you joining up. Right. So currently I've out of spots for coaching clients for August, but September's coming up here rapidly. I'm going to be taking on a new set of clients. If you're interested, I don't want to, this is not about the sales pitch, but if you're interested, I'd love if you reach out to me and tell me that you're interested. And let's have a conversation and see if this is the right fit for you. Okay. If it's not, I'll tell you. Trust me, this is not for everybody. And I only want to get the people who are ready to do this, because when, not if, but when the foreclosure crisis hits, and it's coming, when it hits, my clients are going to be doing an average of 3 to 4 deals per year as a collective, and I want to get to 50 clients from the local market. That means my buying power is going to be 200 houses minimum that I'm going to be remodeling. That gets me all the best prices on parts, all the best prices on labor, all the best access to capital. I've already negotiated stellar deals for the listing side of the commission when we put the property on the market. So my group, the people part of the foreclosure deals coaching group, are going to get all the benefit from that. That's going to translate into more deals, better deals, cheaper pricing, and ultimately more profit to the bottom line. And these aren't campaign promises. This is a reality I've seen happen before, and we're creating it right here in the Colorado Springs market. If you'd like to do it, I'd love to chat with you about it. That's my take on that. Getting back to the construction thing, I've been meeting with project managers because we are bottlenecking there. So if you're watching and or you are someone who can handle construction project management, I would love to chat with you as well. Same thing, we're doing volume. So it's not like you're making a ton per deal, but I think it's going to add up to a lot of deals. And what I need is someone who can manage the subcontractors effectively without me having to do as much babysitting. I've got a couple of PMs on the team now, but to prepare for the expansion, I do want to make sure that I've got more project management than I need available to me, right? So when we scale, we're not slowing down looking for construction resources. This is going to be critical to really promoting the growth. So if that describes you, or somebody looking for, right now, a side gig is how I would best describe it. But if they got a background in construction management, I would certainly love to have a conversation with them. I've got ads up on Indeed, and I'm having conversations daily. But this is also a great forum. I know some of you guys are watching out there, and some people in construction. I would love to have a conversation with them and see if we can make this go a little bit smoother, because that's where we're bottlenecking. Once that's fully dialed in, guys, I'm going to scale to the 50 clients, the local market, pretty fast, I would guess. And then, we'll see what happens, but I'm not going to be actually looking for clients after 50. I don't want to create infighting with the group. I want to make sure that I can comfortably feed my clientele with a minimum of 2 deals a year, with the thought that the guys who are really humming can get to 4 deals per year or more at an average profit of $25,000. That's $100,000 a year coming in for my clientele who sign up and consistently do deals right here in the local market that I provide for them. Okay, it's a no-brainer process once we get it dialed in, and I'm 100% certain I can help anybody who wants to do this to advance through it. So project management's a problem, construction's a problem. It will be the problem for the foreseeable future. But what this is about, what I'm doing is helping to solve problems, right? So we're getting through it. We are getting deals done. They're taking longer than I would like, but they are happening. And we're hoping that we can streamline it out, make them go a little bit faster, then increase the marketing on the front end, which is on me, to make sure we're bringing in enough deals to support that clientele. From here, sky's the limit, right? And I'm really hoping that you want to be a part of it, if you aren't already. But if you want to be a part of it, I'd love to chat with you about doing that. But for those if you're part of the group already, thank you. It's happening. It's real world happening right now. The political climate is only going to cause more problems in the housing market. And honestly, I'm sorry, but I can't wait. I'm so eager to really get this to where it needs to go. The market's been too much on the upward climb, right? There has to be a correction. That correction is happening right now. And I'm happy to be a part of it, because we're going to make a lot of money and have a lot of fun. I enjoy this process of flipping. I enjoy watching new flippers come to the market, learn about what I do and what I'm passionate about. And when we get that paycheck, when you get paid to do something you love, nothing's better than that, right? So this is my passion: coaching, developing people, helping to get over the fears, the concerns that you're worried about. Let's go. Who is that? Put your name in, because I only got Facebook user on that. I'm excited though. Let's go. You got it. Give me your name, Facebook user. That's what I like about this thing. There's a way to get it so your name pops up, but let me know who that is. But I agree, man. Let's go. Let's go. Because it's happening, man. And the market is so conducive for investors to make a lot of money. What's up, Matt? Thanks, brother. Yeah, man. Good to see you, Matt. Matt's one of my clients. He's commenting here. Matt did his first deal. He's based out of Evergreen, Colorado. I met him hanging out in a hot tub at the hot springs, and he became a client, and we've been having a lot of fun working on his deal. How close are you getting it listed, Matt? You said you're about a week or so out? He's probably scrambling to type that, knowing Matt, he's driving or something, because he's that kind of guy. So he'll respond when he does. But yeah, Matt's super close to getting his first deal. Yeah, he says he's about a week out right now. Excited. Place we bought in Stetson Hills, same thing. The launch took a little bit longer than we wanted to, but overall, I'm sure the house is going to be gorgeous. I'm going to head out and take a look at it right before we get it listed. It's Stetson Hills, so it's going to sell pretty fast. And then, we're on to the next one. My general rule is right as you go live on the market with your current one, if you've got the capital to loop in a little bit, to overlap a little bit, then we look for your next one immediately. If you don't have the capital to get your next one, the next step is talking to my group. I just did an interview yesterday with MB Capital that provides lines of credit, unsecured lines of credit, specifically to real estate investors. right? So if you don't have the capital to do another deal or even your first deal, I can help you with that too. Money should not be the reason why you don't do this. Okay. The reason you don't do this is fear. It's this blockage in your head that you can't get past. Okay. The market's there. Learning this process is definitely going to be lucrative. And Matt put in there, ready to get it listed end of the week and jump into the next one. Man, I can't wait. I'm so excited to get you into your next one. I'm excited about this one, but the idea is building this momentum. This is life-changing what you're doing right now for you and your family, and being able to do overlap and do the 4 deals a year, and I tell people, not that, profit is not a concern. It's that right now we're learning the process, right? I guarantee they're going to make a minimum profit of $25,000. But if we don't hit that on the first one, for whatever reason, stuff happens. We buy them with the numbers in mind, right? But what you're going to learn about real estate investing is you can only predict your end profit. The goal is that you don't lose money. You also don't want to be tied into a deal forever that only makes you 5 or 10 grand, right? Because that wasn't a good use of your time. But what we're really learning is about how to be consistent about this. How can you have 1 or 2 projects going at a time so you've got those big hits to your paychecks in addition to your day job? Now, there are other people who want to leave the day job entirely. Well, if you can get that done on 4 deals a year, great. I can certainly help you to get that 3 or 4 deals, but you got to get the first one done. For others, for me anyway, the minimum was really 10 a year at 25,000. That's just kind of the lifestyle I'm accustomed to. So I really wanted to get $250,000 a year minimum income on the flipping side, in addition to whatever I was doing to produce income outside of the flipping. Right. So you can keep your day job to a certain degree. If you want to transition out, that's a different discussion. It's a different team and it's a different level of capitalization. It is doable. I certainly did it at 45 houses. Right. But it's a different conversation than the one we're having now, which is purely on let's get your first deal done so we can maintain that momentum to get you to 3 or 4 a year consistently. When you're at that phase, the conversation is going to be different. The coaching is going to be different. I offer an elite coaching package for people who want to do a minimum of 10 properties per year. I don't have anybody in that program yet because I'm developing that student base with this one-off student base I'm doing now. But I can tell you, Matt is probably going to be, because he's been super eager. Matt is one client that I predict is going to be in that upper end coaching package because I got him a deal. He bought the deal immediately, took the ball and ran with it. He's getting the deal done. He's ideal. You can do it too, but it does take a certain kind of attitude, a certain type of person to be hyper successful in that. And, as Matt is saying, that's the plan. I know that we can get him there. And I know we can get anybody who's really committed to that there as well. It's been slow. Last few weeks have been slow. A lot of my clients recently bought houses. And so we're bogged down in construction. I'm trying to help as much as possible in the construction space, but because that's not my forte, it's bottlenecking the whole system a little bit. I want to be full disclosure with you guys to where I'm at. Okay, I'm having real world conversations with my clients because they need to know where the group is. People have paid a good amount of money, and we'll continue this in an annual membership once we've done our first deal. Right? It's an annual thing. As long as I'm providing value, I expect that you're going to want me as your coach for the foreseeable future. But the guarantee stays the same. Every year you're with me, you're going to do at least one deal that makes you a minimum of $25,000. Right. And if you don't do that year for whatever reason, I still owe you a deal and you're good to go. So it's a no-brainer investment because I'm committed to making sure my clients are successful. The more successful clients I have, again, more deals I'm going to do, the more money we're all going to make. It's just a win-win-win scenario. All right. Guys, we're over time for today. So there are 3 people hanging out. I'm guessing Matt's one and maybe a couple more. If you guys have any other questions, anything else you'd like to add to the discussion, I'd love to hear that. Once again, if you're interested in coaching, reach out to me. I'd love to chat. I've got a couple slots for the September timeframe. So I am taking people next month. And then, if you know anybody in construction who wants to do project management, I have one client, Stace, did a wonderful job of the PM on his own project, and I'm going to be talking with him about potentially freelancing with me to do project management. But I think I'm going to pull a lot of my team from within, from the clients that I have. So there's another side hustle. You're flipping a property, you're doing some project management. There are so many ways to monetize this business that once you're involved, I promise you the investment's a no-brainer. But additionally, the stuff you're going to learn, the people you're going to meet, the money you're going to make is going to be staggering. So I'll stop jabber-jockeying about that. Thank you so much for attending each and every single week here on the live Q&A session. I'm Donny Coram, your foreclosure deals coach. Guys, I really appreciate how rapidly this is growing. Just the feedback has been amazing. We've got a long way to go yet, but at the pace that we're on, it's only good from here. I appreciate you guys being a part of that. This is Donny Coram, foreclosure deals coach, reminding you now and always, Don't buy a house, buy a deal.